I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. Hey, what's up, world? Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like Live. Again, I'm Jared Ball. Happy to be back with you as your host. And want to, of course, welcome everybody who is joining us live now and who will see this in the replay later. Please make sure you've subscribed to everything. blackpowermedia.org, at Black Power Media on Twitter and Instagram. Please make sure that you are, if you can at all possible, join the channel as a member and help us continue to grow. And like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff this morning as well, or whenever you get a chance to see this. For those who are here live right now, just a heads up, we're going to come back around 12:30 p.m. Eastern time with a special report from Mel Reeves, who is a journalist in Minneapolis covering the Chauvin trial. So we're going to get a live update. We just got off the phone. He's out there live again this morning. He's been covering it. I'm going to get the links up before we leave here this morning, so that you can catch up with his work in the interim. And then hopefully you can come back and join us, and we're going to get that live update of what is this, day 4 of the trial. So it'd be interesting to hear more from about what's going on from somebody who's actually right there. So that's at 12:30 today. Then, of course, there's a lot coming up on the channel itself that is Black Power Media, because our crew is very busy. So first of all, I hope, please make sure you all go back and catch Kalanji Changa's discussion with Daruba yesterday. Another great discussion on the anniversary of the New York 21. And then definitely go and check Lukman Nation for their broadcast yesterday. How a Murder About a Stimulus Check reveals, what was the full title of that? Fascinating discussion, deeper community issues. It was a fascinating discussion, and it was wild to hear about how I ended up in Baba Lukman's dream. That was weird. I want to hear about who this mystery mutual friend was that was causing a ruckus apparently. But anyway, that was deep. So definitely check that out. And then tomorrow, there is actually going to be a lot happening on the channel tomorrow. We have at 10 a.m. Eugene Puryear is going to join me for a live update from Haiti. He's down there with the Punch Out podcast and Breakthrough News. So he's going to join us at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. And then, of course, 5 p.m. Eastern is Lukman Nation. 7 p.m. is the premiere of episode 9 of The Last Dope Intellectual, which we just wrapped up. Another banger, powerful episode where she sits down with our co-founder, Kamal Franklin, and she sits down with 2 members of the Hood Communist Collective. And that conversation about their Twitter banning was a powerful one. So I can't wait for you all to see that tomorrow night. And then after that, Renegade Culture airs at 9:00 Eastern Friday night. So it is definitely a dope Fridays all the way through, starting at 10 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And any gap you have in that schedule, please find all of this great content that has been coming up at on Black Power Media, which there's a lot. We've been doing a lot. I was catching up this morning myself, and it's great. that we don't have to be caught up in a lot of the nonsense commercially or what purports to be an alternative. By the way, don't forget also April 4th at noon Eastern, the second Black Radical Brunch hosted by Dr. CBS, which is going to feature also Doctors Layla Brown Vincent and Keto Swan. A members only Black Radical Brunch. So please do consider signing up and joining the channel. And not only do you get this exclusive live content, but you also are supporting this expansion, which I'm going to mention something else about in just a moment. And then on the 5th, Monday the 5th at 12 noon Eastern is the members only 10th anniversary special with me for the 10th anniversary of I Mix What I Like, a Mixtape Manifesto. So a lot of interesting stories to tell about that and what it's like to go through a writing process that is what I'm just thinking of as the anti-CBS process. That is all of the writing tips you've been getting in the last Dope Intellectual, I did not follow, and which we'll be talking about, including some background to the book and what went on with all of that. Some stories I've never shared publicly, and some very interesting tidbits that I think you'll enjoy. Plus, the book is still, I think, relevant and offers a lot to talk about too. So please go to imixwhatilike.org and go to the book section and download your free copy of I Mix What I Like, a Mixtape Manifesto. Yeah. Oh, we have to talk. Oh, I got to make a note about that. We have to talk about the copyright. I forgot even to make a note about that. Copyright reclamation. Oh man, and PP support. Oh yeah, okay, very good, very good. So we'll add that as well. So, oh, right on. Thank you, Ruth. Welcome as a new member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much, and we look forward, hopefully, to seeing you at the Black Radical Brunch. And at the I Mix What I Like 10th anniversary. Peace, Ricky. Good morning, and thank you very much. I look forward to the discussion with you as well, and appreciate your longtime support of that work. And again, woo-wee, that Hood Communist crew that you roll with is sharp. And that interview they did with CBS yesterday, I can't wait. Man, I just finished the edit and anyway, so I can't wait for you all to see that tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern PM. All right, so let's get to a couple things here. I think I covered all of the business real quick. Yeah. So again, as I continue to say, I what used to be a running blog at imixwhatilike.org for really, I think more than a decade, where I would just sort of watch some of this economic data as it would come related to Black American and the African diaspora more broadly, and then specifically this issue of buying power. Please go to imixwhatilike.org, by the way, and check the article a brother in Germany wrote referencing my work, but talking about how the mythology plays out in Black Germany as well. I put a translated English version up at imixwhatilike.org. I mean, I'm hoping to expand at some point the work on that too internationally, but obviously the same issues, it's the same. The imperial capitalist relationship is the same. So of course the myth is the same, but it's just interesting to see how it was being applied specifically in the context of Germany. But anyway, so now instead of just doing them as a blog, honestly, this is more fun and in many ways easier to have a live discussion with you all about the latest. So I have a Google alert set still on buying power, and another one came the other day. So I got a chance to check it out, and as you might expect, it's quite revealing. Yet again. And so I'll just pull it up here very quickly. And from the Mississippi Free Press, Black Buying Power Could Transform the Climate Movement by Heather McTeer Toney. whose job is as we'll see, is itself relevant. And there's a number of interesting pieces to this that actually sort of dovetail with I Mixed What I Like, a mixtape manifesto, which I'll talk about in a moment as sort of a preface to the teaser for the live session, but that shows, frankly, the continuing relevance of that work, or what I was at least trying to do with that work. So it starts here. What do Beyonce, South African rapper, and forgive me, I'm not familiar with this artist, so if I'm mispronouncing anything, it's not intentional. South African rapper De Les and my 73-year-old dad have in common? Besides the fact that they're all black, they all drive electric vehicles, Tesla to be specific. That's right. Queen Bey herself is flawless in her Model X with Jay-Z and kids. By the way, that is... that's right. You can't just so easily shit. But anyway, you see well, I actually clipped the picture for the cover art of this. But anyway, Model X of Jay-Z and the LES just dropped a single titled Elon Musk, complete with a music video highlighting the car. Meanwhile, my dear, sweet civil rights fighting teacher trained retired parents are happily running errands in their new 2021 Tesla 10, Tesla X long range. So in addition to being a car commercial, of course, the argument here is that the purchasing power, the buying power of black people, noting celebrities here, of course, to start with, is what will, well, let's just keep going. Well, as she says, while this is not an endorsement of Tesla, okay, all right, then I'm sure they would appreciate the free advertising, as they might even with what I'm doing here. I don't know, who knows? It is an example of the trend now being followed by GM and other major automobile manufacturers. There has been a seismic cultural shift in the acceptance of alternative fuel, climate-friendly vehicles in minority communities, and it spans across generations and geographic locations. At the same time, environmental justice is a social justice issue in our households because, similar to Latino and indigenous people, black people are disproportionately impacted by environmental pollution and the effects of climate change. So, of course, she's not advocating that the solution be a radical reorganization of this country's economy, or I don't know, moving away from mass production of certainly fossil fuel vehicles, but even electric vehicles, which are themselves still drawing on an electric grid that is itself propelled by fossil fuel. Instead of doing anything like that, the solution here is black people buying electric cars and taking advantage of the fact that Biden-Harris climate plan for clean energy investment, our country can embrace a clean electricity standard and begin to advance environmental justice and infrastructure stability. So it's not it's not a Tesla ad, and apparently it's also not a commercial for the Biden-Harris climate plan for clean energy investment. Not clean energy, investment in clean energy companies that purport to offer clean air. And then, by the way, if you just watch the Planet of the Humans documentary, executive produced by Michael Moore, the one that his white left have conspired against him to ban or marginalize, you see in detail how the predominant environmental movement from Bill McKibben on down is funded by supporting fossil fuel industries and promoting lies about everything from solar panels and wind, solar and wind technologies, and not that they aren't viable or can't be, but the way they're being accessed is following the same capitalist logic that is ineffective and leading us nowhere other than back to where we are or worsening conditions. But in other words, so that's what this, that's where we're being asked to go with this article. But here, but specifically, to my, myopic focus on buying power, here is the claim again that Black folks are carrying untapped leverage. African American buying power in the US continues to increase, and we are anything if not loyal to a brand. By the way, the reason I put bad journalism in the title of this video is specifically because of this part here, because unlike the many years of reports claiming the buying power or referencing the buying power number that I talk about in my book and have been talking about for years, this is the first that I can think of that comes to mind that makes, or maybe not the first, but one of a few that makes almost no attempt to even reference or claim a source for that number. So here, there's no reference to the Selig Center. There's no reference to even a Nielsen report that claims buying power is increasing. I thought that was interesting because, as we can look at in a moment, when you even look at this 2020 Nielsen report, it doesn't reference buying power or the Selig Center either. It's just a report about Black people spending and shopping. Similarly, going back to something I do mention in the Buying Power book and that we've been talking about a little bit regularly, is that this issue of Black brand loyalty is old and goes back to, it's 100 years or more old now, and has been connected to this idea that more or less a form of coming out of obviously an oppressive and excluded position. Black people are thought to be, or studied to be, or claimed to be more attached to a particular brand once engaging that brand from a beginning or a starting point. Now that that logic actually extends across racial lines, where most people are attached to a brand early on, or at least, and certainly that is the goal of branding, hence branding as a term. But this idea that and I talk about this in the book a little bit and show some of the reference to this, but this idea that Black people are just overly brand loyal is just something that is I think meant to more wed advertisers to the idea, to being comfortable with the idea of marketing in Black targeted media or Black owned media. Anyway, the 2020 Nielsen report showed that despite COVID-19, African Americans did 11% more shopping online than the average household, are three times as likely to show support of their favorite brands on a social media platform, and expect those brands to take a stance on issues including planet, social justice, and wellness. So what is this report saying? What is this? And again, what I continue to try to argue here is that it's showing this is what buying power really means: the ability to shop and spend money on products that Black people don't own or bring to market, and that the goal of, as Nielsen talks about, developing a conscious consumer or addressing themselves to a conscious consumer, is saying, well, okay, fine. If you want social justice in your product, in your messaging, we'll give that to you in the advertising of our products. So in other words, when we advertise to Black people, we'll just say, by the way, this will help save the planet, or drinking this will help this, or buying, and that will, but in other words, it has nothing to do with the economic condition, as I'm going to, we'll take another quick look at in just a moment, and has nothing to do with Black people having a pool of wealth that can be independently or autonomously used to advance their material condition. To top it off, it is estimated that between 2020 and 2060, African Americans will add more than 20% of the total U.S. population growth. In other words, Black folks are carrying a whole lot of untapped leverage. So in other words, it's just saying more Black people spending more is somehow, this is again where the bad journalism comes in, is somehow meant to be reflective of a power and untapped leverage. But again, this is not organized. This is not a pool of wealth that can be organized and used any way any group, or in this case, Black people, would want. It can only be used in aggregates or it can only be used in, considered as an aggregate of independent or an individual or small group spending on products that people don't own. Black people set trends, and we can make a break in a moment's notice. And this is sort of where, okay, so this is where I was going to make reference to I Mix What I Like. Ask a member of any Black household about the purple velvet bag with a gold rope, and I guarantee they'll know it's Crown Royal, Pebbles, and Mercedes Boy. Prince's 1999 album about Little Red Corvette, 2003, Lil' Kim's The Jump Off, for Bentley, the Hummers, Benz, Escalades, etc., and so forth. Now, so here's where I'm just going to, let me do a quick pivot here, because again, while this is being promoted as power, as this is being promoted as a strength to be reckoned, with which to be reckoned, what it's just reflective of neo-colonial co-optation, or as Fanon talked about, the ossifying or the colonizing of a culture, forcing it to testify against its own progenitors. But so this is what I would want to elaborate on when we do the members only talk. But if you, in I Mix What I Like, I talked about what was at the time, for instance, the American Bandstand reports that made reference to how often this is funny, because when you all see tomorrow's Last Dope Intellectual, this will be like a funny little preview joke right here. This me making a reference to Noam Chomsky. Just remember that I did that when you watch The Last Dope Intellectual tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully I can find my place here again. Another thing I don't like about Kindle, it's so easy to lose your place, but there it is. So it's funny that this article that we're looking at here is talking about how Black people set trends and make things hot and make reference to all these commercial products, because in these reports that used to come out in the early 2000s that I used to reference all the time, called American Bandstand, what they were doing was noting how often references to commercial products were being made in rap lyrics, and then using that to help wed corporations to rappers and music labels to literally turn rappers into commercial advertising, and to saturate particularly Black youth with commercial and anti-Black, anti-human references. So as I pointed out here, in 2005, Mercedes-Benz topped product placement messages with mentions with 100 separate references in hip hop lyrics. So that's more than 100 references in 1 year. And again, you have to remember that's 100 references, separate references in songs, in 100 separate references in songs that are played thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times a week. Magnified by this, routinely gaining weekly 6,000 to 10,000 range spins at the time, 6,000 to 10,000 range, and its potential impact on audiences becomes clear. Oprah Winfrey's references to sneakers and Black youth, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. 63 mentions that year for Nike. AK-47s had 37 mentions that year. And Mercedes and AK-47s become let's see, what was I saying here? It is behoove in agreement with, because this is when Oprah Winfrey was chastising Black youth for wanting shoes. And I was trying to point out that one reason they might want shoes is because they're hearing songs marketing shoes to them thousands and thousands and thousands of times in a week. And I keep losing my spot here. But here's some more, or maybe I just found it again. It might behoove those in agreement with Winfrey to question a media system that imposes this kind of repetition on its audiences, particularly its children, who have enough products officially licensed for them, not counting the Mercedes and AK-47s, in what has now become a $32 billion global market. In 2008, Nike outlasted 2007's leading patron and Glock brand handguns, tied for ninth with Coca-Cola. So you got Glocks and Nike and Coca-Cola and et cetera and so forth. That's how hip hop has been, in pop culture, had been turned and is turned. And in this case, both, to the point about that I'm making it, I mix what I like, expresses the colonial relationship culturally that Black America retains with white America in the United States. And it also explains more about how the mythology of Black buying power itself continues to circulate, and why it finds such an easy audience. Because, even as I start off the buying power book, with reference to Jay-Z and Beyonce, here they come again, being used to tell a story about the power that is of Black people to actually transform the climate movement. Again, not by changing the societal relationship or the economy, the wealth producing processes, or none of that has changed. This capitalism isn't changed. Mass production isn't changed. Fossil fuel, consumption isn't changed. It's just said that Black people buying Teslas and promoting Teslas and electric cars is and then ultimately supporting a Biden clean energy plan is the power that Black people have. Biden administration has a goal of pushing 40% of the investments directly to these communities and employing all of the government approach. This means that every agency of the federal government is tasked to incorporate climate actions into the daily mission and push funding to the frontline marginalized communities that need it most. What's even more exciting are the prospects around the use of electricity as both a clean fuel alternative for power and automobile sector. Earlier this month, the Clean School Bus Act was introduced into the Senate to provide over $1 billion in funds to replace dirty, pollution-spewing diesel school buses. The Biden Clean Energy Act calls for a $2 trillion investment, the largest any administration, directly to cities and towns across the country, creating jobs and providing long overdue. So this is, again, the long, part of the long mythology of a green capitalism, or, an environmentalist-friendly capitalism, which, again, if you actually look at what that Planet of the Humans documentary is arguing, all of these changes are themselves wedded to a fossil fuel extractive process that enriches the very same entities and continues to damage the planet. But it's, again, this idea that Whole Foods and McDonald's and Tesla are going to save us. So, but then when you come down here, I mean, you see, you can see one of the problems, of course, facing is that not only is Tony a national field director for Mom's Clean Air Force, environmentalist nonprofit, but she was appointed by Barack Obama to serve as regional administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency's Southeast region. And she has been recently selected to also serve in a similar capacity for the Biden administration. So, or was being vetted as such when I last looked. So, what is ultimately an ad for environmentally friendly business investment and conspicuous consumption led by Black celebrity is couched as an issue of power and strength and untapped potential. Again, just showing, very quickly why or how this the mythology is promoted, distributed, and how it can have such a continuing impact, because it is, you know. And to the point I was getting at, that in this time they don't even make reference to the Selig Center, which is the sole source of the buying power claim. And they don't point to any data other than the Nielsen reports, which I did, fill out and and download, and I'll just show you very quickly. Let's see. Let me just pull it up again. I guess I closed it out, but it doesn't make any reference to buying power, and it doesn't, it just says that, do I have to fill it out again? I hope I don't have to fill it out again. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I do. Oh man. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I do just want to show it to you real quick, just so I can, take a quick second here. It's not that deep process. Just, you just want to know or have some idea who or where. So you don't need, I guess I don't even, really tell the truth, but it doesn't matter. So they can know where their information is. And here we go. So then I will, oh, it was something I had downloaded. Oh, so I did have it open then. My bad, everybody. I apologize for that. Stop share application. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so this is it's the new Black family navigating. So this report is actually just talking about Black people in COVID being online and shopping and watching more TV and what they're watching, and that they're embracing their identity. So if you make a pitch to identity, you'll attract customers. But it nothing about buying power, nothing about economic data. So here's what, on-screen representation matters, so that there are Black people in Bridgerton and brown and Black faces, and I guess all these TV shows is it's, in addition to vast content libraries offered, Nielsen list reflects ongoing demand of representation in TV, not just from Black audiences, but a broad appeal for inclusive shows from viewers overall. So that's what I was just saying a moment ago. So they're saying if that's the conscious consumer that I talk about, or that they talk about, that I reference in the buying power, that that they just want to see, Black people want to see themselves. So give them some representation. And the idea that when we see someone that reflects something that we hope we, will be more likely to be wedded to them as a brand. And again, that's the kind of conscious consumer they're talking about. It's not necessarily conscious in the sense of it has to be Black owned or redistributive. It doesn't have to do any of that. It just has to have some Black or brown people in the ad or on the show. Yeah, but anyway, there was no, and again, here the sources, there was nothing about Selig or anything like that. Oh, wait a minute. I did want to, by the way, this is what I thought was funny too. Wakanda is one example, looking for ways to honor Juneteenth, a holiday traditionally celebrated with parades or gatherings. 4 times as many Black families streamed Black Panther the week of June 19th in 2020 compared to the week before. So again, that's the extent that power is more Black people watch. Okay, then the last thing I just want to show, and this would be sort of what I have always done, and is just part of the method. Whenever these reports come out, I just go and find something that is talking about what's actually happening with Black people economically. So in this report from earlier this year from inequality.org, just very quickly, according to our calculations, the most recent Federal Reserve data, 14% of white households had zero or negative wealth. An estimated 28% of Black households had zero or negative wealth, twice the level of whites, and 26% of Latinx households had zero or negative wealth. So 28% of Black households have zero or negative wealth. Over a quarter have zero or negative wealth. So again, this can't be described as economically powerful. Let me just give you one more quick example. Just from same website, same time frame. From 1983 to 2016, the racial wealth divide has grown. And as we were talking about recently, and this number is actually still consistent, it's I think only slightly higher. The net wealth for Black households in 2016 was not even $3,600. I think it's barely $3,600 now. 148,000 for almost 147,000 rather for white households. So again, this idea that there is some sort of power, strength, advance, that Black people are going to save the climate movement by supporting Biden and buying Teslas, you know, a few celebrities and affluent Black folks. I mean, that's you know, a huge part of the problem. Oh, right. There was one more. That's right. I got one more thing that I meant to share. By the way, just to shamelessly self-promote some more, if same thing at mixwhatilike.org. This is why I made the argument about C. Dolores Tucker having it right. That those who have followed hip hop and understand hip hop's history, she had, you know, the late C. Dolores Tucker, who was by no means a radical, you know, wonderful revolutionary. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying that while she was pilloried by a lot of people in hip hop for, you know, at the time in the 90s being, you know, seen as this old woman wanting to shut it down, what she was really saying is corporations are taking it over and turning it against Black youth. And as she even pointed out, helping set a context, you know, in which Black youth would be increasingly incarcerated. And not only have leading scholars like Jeff Chang and Michael Eric Dyson literally truncated and rewritten her, as I show in that piece, her statements, but they help promote this idea that a commercial takeover of hip hop has been, again, an advance. And that going from the margins to the mainstream is an advance. And so this would be another way of previewing our discussion of I Mix What I Like, a mixtape manifesto, April 5th, 12 noon Eastern for members only. It's not an advance. We are exactly where the same thing is happening still today. In many ways in a worsening situation. Yeah, so let's see. I want to share because Omawale Africa sent me this this message here. Which is a post from Tamika Mallory. And please go see the video that I just did, you know, talking about the conquest of our convictions, as George Creel put it, the purpose of advertising. So brother Omawale was right here. She wrote here, on the last day of Women's History Month, let's celebrate the beauty, the resilience, and accomplishments of Black women. This month, I was engaged by a prominent Black advertising agency to include my voice in their The Audacity of Blackness campaign with Cadillac. So here's again the connection. Well, one connection. As I continue to point out, as I mentioned in the book repeatedly and continue to point out, the promotion of the myth of buying power is as much a creation of Black commercial media outlets wanting to convince white corporations that Black people can indeed afford the products that white people want to sell, and therefore white corporations should spend the almost $500 billion in annual revenue spent in advertising. More of that should go to these Black media outlets. So it is. So while Tamika is warning us, and again, this is not a personal attack on her, it's just so we can understand how the system works and targets us individually to make these mistakes and to participate in our own oppression. But when she is trying to promote here that a Black ad agency is behind this or responsible for this, what she's doing is revealing the reality that I'm trying to expose, that Black ad agencies participate in this because they help bring Cadillac money into their bank accounts. So now the amazing Black women who work together to make this happen are badass, and I'm sure they are. As part of their campaign, Cadillac and its parent company have committed $10 million to racial justice organizations, with the first $1 million already donated to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. We are advocating for significant investment in grassroots organizations as well. So we haven't gotten the investment in grassroots organizations. We're just advocating for it. So I don't know who the 10 million went to or what that's supposed to mean relative to the amount of money Cadillac is working with and will generate, and more importantly, the symbolic weapon, impact of that this messaging has goes far outweighs that. Black people are among the largest group of consumers in the country, contributing over $1 trillion a year to the economy. There it is, but still the most ignored. My organization, Until Freedom, will continue to use our collective voices to ensure that our purchasing power is recognized and respected. Corporations are now recognizing the glaring and gross inequities of Black and brown communities and how they have underserved our people. Yet there is still critical work that needs to be done for true corporate responsibility and equity to be fairly achieved. My support of this campaign is aligned with my social justice activism and provides an extraordinary opportunity to raise awareness and focused visibility around recent commitments to various corporations to support this important racial justice work. I point out in my book that Black Lives Matter has fallen into this mistake, and this is just another propulsion of the myth, draping this false concept as not only real, but as progressive and something that can be used to advance the conditions of Black people. Yeah, really, it's really just unfortunate. And yeah. Anyway, Angela Davis, thank you and welcome. We appreciate your membership. Welcome, and hopefully you'll now take advantage and be in attendance on April 4th at 12 noon Eastern time for the Black Radical Brunch members only session with Dr. CBS and friends. And then at 12 noon Eastern time on April 5th, you can join me for a 10th anniversary presentation of I Makes What I Like, a mixtape manifesto, as a members only event as well. So welcome and thank you very much. Anyway, if that's her real name, oh wait, I hit the wrong one. Okay, right, Angela Davis, got you. Okay. Yeah, they're doing it with the fashion industry. Absolutely. The idea again that you know, Black engagement in fashion or the fashion industry can support you know, I mean, you know. Oh, right on. There's a panel with Omawale and Kamau about this. Okay, word up, word up. Yeah, the NAACP. Again, because remember, as we talked about before, Tamika's coming out of the Al Sharpton tree of activism. So the NAACP, that would be seen as right up. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. Negative wealth. That's 28%. And it's probably worse than that. But anyway, I think, I mean, obviously it's not a lot of questions. What did Daruba say? Black people don't have questions. They just ready to move or something. They don't want to say nothing. They're just ready to move at this point. That's definitely what how it feels looking at the chat here. Let's see. I'm starting to understand the myth of black buying power. Appreciate what you've done. Oh no, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Again, the only reason the myth is at all complicated is because of all this bad reporting that keeps coming out and the misrepresentation of pundits and people who, we can assume, or we can give them the benefit of the doubt, who think that they're doing something good and in fact are really not. So by promoting that myth. So all right, so listen, I'm going to stop there. So listen, if you can, come back at 12:30 Eastern when Mel Reeves joins us. In fact, let me see if I can quickly pull up the links I need to. I forgot to do that. But at 12:30 Eastern, Mel Reeves is going to join us for, he's on hand live in Minneapolis and longtime journalist there, and has been covering the chauvin trial. And is going to join us at 12:30 to talk about that. And you can get his reporting at the Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. I'm going to put the link. Let's see, put the link down here so that folks interested can check out the work of Mel Reeves, which you can find there. And then he's going to join us again to talk about his coverage of the Chauvin trial, and we'll see what's what. So if you can come back at 12:30 for that, please do. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern time, Eugene Puryear will be joining us live from Haiti to talk about the latest from there. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have Lukeman Nation. 7 p.m. Eastern, the episode 9 of The Last Dope Intellectual. Again, none of these you want to miss, but I happen to have already seen it, so I know how good it is. And you don't want to miss it. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, Renegade Culture. So Black Power Media all day tomorrow, all day today, all day every day for that matter. And then you can sign up if you haven't already as a member and join us for. By the way, not everybody's liking. Hit the like button. Help us, proliferate a little bit. A lot of you not hitting. Not of you not hitting the like button. Hit the like button. Or definitely let us know why you haven't. You know what I'm saying? Because you could always, like my man Pierre says,
put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. I've told you I'm trying to be to black radical politics what Pierre is to black comedy. So if you guys
put it in the comments.
All right, and then come on back and when if you can, and we'll of course catch you next time. So thanks everybody for coming through. Appreciate you. Please again like, share, subscribe, join blackpowermedia.org so you never miss anything that the whole crew is doing. And as always, as Fred Hampton used to say, we say peace if you're willing to fight for it. And we'll catch you next time here at I Mix What I Like Live. So peace, everybody. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.